session and adopt certification of closed session.
Whereas the Dinwiddie County School Board has convened a closed session on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and whereas paragraph 2.2-3712 of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by this school board that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now therefore be it resolved that the Dinwiddie County School Board hereby certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, only such business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered by the school board. Dr. Elaine J. Pearson, District 1.
I certify.
Dwayne G. Walker, District 2.
I certify.
Barbara T. Pittman, District 3.
I certify.
Mary M. Benjamin, District 4.
I certify.
All have certified, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Now we would join our student representative and participate in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jake. I don't want to be remiss and not to say good evening to everybody. You think we're so anxious to get the meeting going today that I didn't say good evening, but we do thank you for coming, and we're glad to see each one of you here today. And it looked like we're going to have some fall weather now, so I'm glad to see you out there. This was a good day to stay in, but we're here. So thank you again for coming. Madam Chair, are there any amendments to the agenda?
There are no amendments to the agenda, Madam Chair.
Madam Secretary, that is. There are no, so we will entertain a motion now.
Madam Chair, I move that we adopt the agenda as presented.
Second.
It has been moved and second that we adopt the agenda as written. All those in favor use the usual sign.
Aye.
There are no nays. So the agenda is adopted. Closed session report.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the personnel list as it's been presented to us today.
Second.
It has been moved and second that we approve the personnel list as presented. All those in favor use the usual sign. Aye. Are there any nays? The personnel list is approved. Dr. Weston, the next we will have will be recognitions.
Recognitions. We're going to start this evening with Principal Danielle Hawkins from Sunnyside Elementary School.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Danielle Hawkins. I am principal at Sunnyside Elementary School, and we are very excited to be here today to share highlights from the first quarter of our school year. So at this time, I'd like to turn it over to some of our star students.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the biggest blockbuster of the year. Sunnyside Elementary presents an award-winning year. Let's meet the cast.
I'm starring in the reading scene. I loved when my class read Scary Squirrel to our first grade reading buddies.
My starring role is in Dinwiddie history. It has helped me appreciate where I live and I go to school.
I take the lead in role in kindness. Miss Lambo is teaching us how to be a great friend. And this month, she's going to teach us a kindness pledge.
I'm going to be a PE star because Mr. D taught us a new cool game. My favorite one so far is cage ball.
I am a star scientist. We did a cool new STEM scope experiment on how much water a penny could hold. It can hold a lot more than you think.
Being a star researcher in the library was fun, where we participated in Fat Bear Week that takes place in Katmai National Park in Alaska.
The winner of Fat Bear Week was Chunk 32. He even won with a broken jaw.
We enjoy popsicles and cookies for attendance in August and September.
We are looking forward to having a picnic to celebrate outstanding attendance in October.
Together, we can make this an award-winning year.
To be a star, you have to show up. Lights, camera, action. Sunnyside is the place to be.
So as we shared, our theme this year is an award-winning year. And in keeping with that theme, I just wanted to include that just today we received the official word that our pre-K site was one of 2 in our district and 1 out of just 101 in the state who were recognized as exceeding expectations for the 24-25 school year. So this is a true testament of the hard work of our staff. And I want to say a special thank you to Ms. Lambert and Ms. Green who helped organize this presentation today. We are looking forward to finishing out our award-winning year very strong. Thank you.
Yes, next our recognition, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Robinson Williams, who's going to talk to us or introduce to us some Dinwiddie difference makers.
Got the mic on? All right. Last month, a quick-thinking 5th grader alerted a staff member of a student that was choking. Another employee stepped in and administered the Heimlich maneuver. Today, we are spotlighting these 3 individuals and honoring them with the Dinwiddie Difference Award. First, I would like to recognize the staff honorees, Miss Lisa Crawford and Catherine Brutoric. I'm sorry. Catherine Brutoric. Please come forward.
It's amazing.
Miss Lisa. All right. Before I call our student up, I want to read the certificate of recognition. The certificate says, in heartfelt appreciation of your brave actions, your calm response, and your willingness to help make a meaningful difference, we are recognizing you, all 3 of you, with the Dinwiddie Difference Maker Award. So our student honoree is none other than Remy Belfield. Dr. Weston, do you have a few words real quick?
Yes, I do. I think that, first of all, if you've ever been around a child or anyone that's in that situation, it's very hard to remain calm and poised in that moment. And I just want to say to you, Remy, thank you so much. You immediately did exactly what you're supposed to do, and that is to find an adult. And to the adults, for those of you to lean in like that, absolutely amazing. And I just thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you did for that young child on that day. Thank you so much. This is an example of what excellence looks like in practice.
Yes.
Thank you. And if you could stick around a little bit, I know Ms. Robinson Williams wants to also get some photographs afterward.
Thank you. All right, next up is our VSBA School Board Academy Awards. Board members, are you ready? All right, well, these awards will be presented to our board members, and it is an annual recognition. However, to receive this award, for award of achievement, you must have 24 credits per year, and you will receive a bronze pin. The award of recognition is 15 credits per year, but there's no pin, just a certificate. The award of excellence, 48 credits in 2 years, and you will receive a silver pin. Award of honor, 66 credits in 2 years, and you will receive a gold pin. Lastly, the award of distinction, 84 credits in 2 years, and you will receive a starfish pin. First up, Mary Benjamin. Mary Benjamin will receive the Certificate of Excellence and a silver pin. Congratulations. Next, Dr. Carrie Weston. Dr. Weston will receive the Certificate of Excellence and a silver pin.
Thank you.
All right, next, Pastor Dwayne Walker. Pastor Walker will receive a bronze pin and the Certificate of Achievement. Congratulations. Dr. Elaine Pearson will receive the Award of Recognition for her 15 credits this year in service, okay? And last but not least, Mrs. Pittman will receive the Certificate of Honor and a gold pin for her years of service, as well as her 84 credits in her 66 credits in 2 years. Congratulations, board members. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you want to take a break? Or do you want the board members to?
Now I would like to recognize the parents and the teachers who came out with our Sunnyside, what was it, the production crew, I believe. Parents and teachers who came out with the students from Sunnyside. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And now what we're going to do, you want to do that? We're going to take a short break. You may go out. You may take pictures, and I'm sure Ms. Robertson Williams would like to take a few pictures. And then in about 5 minutes, and then we can come back.
Okay.
And those of you who have to do homework or go home to study, get in bed so you can get up and get the bus in the morning. Thank you again for coming. Going to go on with our consent agenda.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the expenditure report as presented.
Second.
It has been moved and second that we accept the expenditure reports as presented. All of those in favor use the usual sign.
Aye.
Any nays? Hearing none, the expenditure report is accepted. Approval of minutes from September 9th and September 23rd, 2025.
Madam Chair, I move we accept the minutes of September 9th and September the 23rd.
Second.
It has been moved and second that we approve the minutes of September 9th and September 23rd, 2025. All of those in favor use the usual sign.
Aye.
Any nays?
I abstain. I was not here for the 23rd.
We have two approvals and one three approvals and one abstention. So the minutes are approved. Board matters.
Yeah, you ready? Okay. And as you know, this is Bullying Awareness Month. And so we do have a proclamation for Bullying Prevention Month, excuse me. And we're going to have Beth read that for us.
Whereas school bullying has become an increasingly significant problem in the United States and Virginia, and whereas nearly 20% of the youth in the United States are estimated to be involved in bullying each year, either as a bully or as a victim, and whereas an estimated 10% of elementary schools, 15% of high schools, and 28% of middle schools reported the occurrence of bullying at school at least once a week, and whereas bullying can take many forms, including verbal, physical, and electronic, and can happen in many places both on and off school grounds. Whereas it is important for Virginia parents, students, teachers, and school administrators to be aware of bullying and to encourage discussion of the problem as a school community. And whereas the VSBA has developed sample policies to encourage positive behaviors and to eliminate bullying behaviors. Now therefore be it resolved that the Dinwiddie County Public School System joins the Virginia School Boards Association in recognizing October 2025 as VSBA Bullying Prevention Month and is committed to addressing the issue of bullying and promoting prevention efforts in our classrooms throughout the month. And we are asking that this proclamation be approved and adopted at this meeting tonight.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the proclamation.
Second.
It has been moved and properly second that we approve the proclamation of October 2025 for VSBA Bullying Prevention Month. All of those in favor use the usual sign. Aye. Any nays? Hearing none, the proclamation is approved.
I would just say, Ms. Benjamin, that Dinwiddie is committed to not just Bullying Prevention Month, but the entire year. We have a task force that's been working on safe and supportive schools, and we will be bringing forth a plan that will carry us through the entire school year. So it won't be just for the month of October, but we will be seeing a lot of different activities take place to tackle some of the issues that you heard in that proclamation.
Thank you, Dr. Weston. And I'm glad to hear that because that it's going to be ongoing because many of our parents and other community people who are just concerned about students
Absolutely.
would like to know that we're working on it continuously.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Approval of proposed change to payroll frequency.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Is that on?
It's on. I had a message that people couldn't hear. I would like to ask if it'd be the pleasure of the board, could I swap and do the budget calendar first? Because Ms. Branch is supposed to be helping me with the payroll thing, and I let her know we were getting ready to do that, but I think she needs to be a part of that. Are you okay with that?
If she does the calendar first and wait for Ms. Branch to
That
come.
would be
You just
fine.
swap?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, so I come before you today to get approval on the FY27 budget calendar. It's hard to believe we're going to be starting that again. We're currently being audited in 25 this year. We're living in this week, and we're living in 26, and we're planning for 27. So this calendar looks very similar to what it has in the past. I'm asking for approval. It can be amended as needed throughout the year as the board so desires, or if we need to change dates or add meetings. We are going to be holding, department meetings and presentations so that staff can be integral in our development process. So if anyone has any questions, I'll be glad to try and entertain those.
We have had discussion on this on previous meetings and in closed session. And so we had the discussion earlier that there have been a lot of people that have had input. I totally understand why we're proposing it, and I understand that many other divisions are doing it. I personally, as a board member, have had a lot of people to contact me that are opposed to it. And so...
Are you referring to the payroll frequency?
I am. You're exactly right. We're not
Yes.
there yet. Sorry.
That's okay, but hold that thought.
I know. Sorry.
Hold that
Exactly
thought.
right.
She's ready, I know.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. That's
You
okay. I
switched-
threw
you
you off.
switched, but my brain
I
did
know,
not
I
switch.
know. I apologize.
No, you're okay. I apologize.
Well, this is similar to what we do yearly.
Yes, ma'am.
And you do let us know when there is going to be a change in the date of a presentation or meeting or something like that. And it looks like you have included some of the same.
Yes, ma'am. The governor is due to present his budget in mid-December. We will then get, what will look like the first year of the biennial budget. It is a biennial budget coming up. We received information where the governor had put something out about the state revenue forecast are about 9% above where they forecasted right now. So that's a good sign. We're hoping we will receive, he'll put that in to the budget to help K-12 education. But most of this work, our budget packets to staff will go out in November. They'll be due back in December, but most of the work is done in January, February, and March. And I am planning on the January 27th board meeting. We do plan to do a school board work session, in January, a budget work session where we sit down and actually have, we sit around the table. It'll be like a true work session and go through, details and what things are looking like, and to help make decisions about moving forward.
Do you know if there's been any discussion or research? Right now we get a percentage of the lottery goes to the school. And with the approval of all the casinos, that is not considered the lottery. Is there going to be some sort of connection between those two?
It's not a connection necessarily between those two, but the casino profits do benefit public schools in Virginia, and it's going to go to construction.
Okay.
There is a formula. I will say that I'm not overly familiar with it, but I do know that in the next year or two, we probably should start seeing something from the new casinos that have been added. The localities surrounding the casinos do receive, some additional funding, but all schools are supposed to receive some assistance from the revenue that's brought in through the casino. But it is all earmarked for school construction.
Okay. But luckily, I'm glad that there is a connection there. Yeah.
Yes.
One of the things she did add to this particular version of the calendar was that you see that there's asterisks beside many of the dates, and that is to let the public know which of these meetings will be open to the public, because we have had interest in being able to participate in those meetings. So we want to make sure the public is aware that they can participate in those meetings, no matter what kind of meeting they are, if we're sitting around a table or if we're at a board meeting.
That is correct. And if it doesn't have a time associated with it yet, it will. And also, I will be adding these dates to the school board calendar and for all personnel that will be involved as well.
Okay. So she needs
Approval.
a motion, an approval.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the budget calendar for 2027.
Second.
It has been moved and second that the budget for fiscal year ending 2027 calendar be approved. All those in favor use the usual sign, aye.
Aye.
Aye. Hearing no nays, the budget calendar for fiscal year 2027 is approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we're going to move right on with the proposal. As we discussed at the board advance last month, we are proposing to change our payroll frequency to twice a month. We know that, just in time. What happened to her? Okay, gotcha. Okay. Our presentation went away. Okay. We know that this may not be the most popular decision among some. However, we know that we have recruitment challenges. We need to modernize the way we do business. We have looked at this before, and we did decide not to move forward with it at that time. However, we do feel like at this time, this is the right thing for the greater good. And we know we need to be more competitive with private industry, enhance our recruiting efforts, and it would provide access to earnings sooner rather than later. And I'm going to let Ms. Branch elaborate on that.
So there's been several instances in which we have had potential candidates to get to the offer stage, and we make them the offer, and the primary deterrent of them accepting the position is that we only get paid once a month. And I tell you this, no lie, that we actually had an individual that contacted the governor's office, and she called me back to tell me that she had contacted the governor's office to ask, was it legal for us to only offer once a month pay? So, which, that does, it may seem a little bit extreme, but this person was so shocked by the fact that we were only doing once a month pay at the end of the month. And they had been with an employer that is a smaller locality than we are that pays twice a month. And so she thought that in her taking a career step for herself for a larger school division, more opportunities, that of course would come with, more, as we say, modernized ways of doing business, such as the twice a month pay. So that has occurred. I can also speak towards recruiting events in which we try to recruit people for positions, and that comes up as a deterrent as well, saying, well, I can't live, just only being paid once a month. And just, this year alone, there's been several candidates that chose not to accept the position because we don't offer pay more than once a month. But this is the part that I was going to say before that. We have gotten way more requests from employees wanting a pay advancement, asking us, is there any way we can advance a portion of their paycheck to help them make ends meet? And honestly, within my 7+ years of being here, that isn't something that I'm used to, getting phone calls about. But I'm getting more and more in the practice of coming to Christy to say, hey, this employee is asking, can we get this? Which, for many, reasons we cannot do that because, we do have a process, which is why I would be a proponent for twice a month pay, because that would allow our employees, especially those that may be in some of those lower paid positions, it would give them access to their earnings sooner and also allow them the opportunity to be able to make decisions for their family's well-being, at a quicker opportunity than they would having to wait for that once a month payroll. And I didn't even discuss substitutes. Our substitutes get paid once a month on mid-month. So there's many instances in which they can go a whole month and a half before they would even get a paycheck. I believe that this would also change the game for them as well, and possibly may incentivize, substitutes to come to work for us because they know they're going to get a paycheck sooner. So,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
So this chart shows those divisions that currently still pay once a month. And so you can see it is, kind of the smaller divisions around us. And then the next slide will show many school divisions, the ones we compete with most of the time do pay twice a month. So what we're proposing is that there be a mid-month payroll and an end-of-the-month payroll. And so typically you say the 15th and the last working day of the month. But you can't always say that because it depends on what day of the week that those days fall on. So we aim for the 15th, but the 15th is a Sunday or a Saturday, it would be that Friday. So what we're saying is work performed between the beginning of the month on the 1st and the mid-month around the 15th will be paid at the end of the month. And any work performed between the 16th and the end of the month will be paid on the mid-month payroll of the following month. So for fiscal year 26, because we're proposing to start this effective July 1st with the new contract year, 12-month employees would receive their first paycheck July the 15th, 2026. Now, I do know that many people have reached out and said they have to change, make a lot of changes. And, you may have to. These are going to be personal decisions if we go forward with this. However, what I'd like to point out is that technically you're going to be getting your pay 2 weeks before you would normally get it. So if you just let it sit there and don't mess with it and just pretend like you get paid monthly, you don't have to do anything different. It won't change, right? If you're good at managing that and it can sit there. And then you would receive another paycheck, July the 31st. For your 10, 10 and a half, and 11-month employees, they will receive their last paycheck for the current year we're in on July the 31st, and then they'll receive their first paycheck on August the 15th. Same with them. They're going to receive their check, their money 2 weeks ahead of where they would normally receive it. Now, it doesn't mean that you won't have to do some changes and maybe make some adjustments. But what we're proposing is this is a timeline of what needs to happen between now and the time we go live in July. We're presenting the proposal to you today, and if approved, in January, we would, obviously we would send out communication, but in January, it would be more detailed communication to employees on the next steps and what needs to happen. Employees may need to review their tax withholding, and we also are proposing to hold a tax workshop with employees, not to advise them on their taxes. Let me just make that clear. It is to review their withholdings and any changes that they would need to make, such as additional withholding that they have coming out of their check. If they have additional withholding, they will need to adjust that because you're not going to want that total amount to come out every time. You're going to need to split it in half. In February through May, we propose to do employee question and answer forums. We also are going to partner with some banks and do some financial literacy workshops. In addition to providing some one-to-one assistance. If employees want to come in and look through their deductions, we will make ourselves available and be able to tell them, what they may need to do in order to make those deductions whole for the month as opposed to in 2 different installments. In June, we would do a review of final payroll changes and assistance to employees as needed for last-minute changes. And then, of course, in July, we would propose to go live with this new process. Some things employees need to know. Substitutes would be paid as follows, which is on the same cycle as what other employees would be paid as well. So they would get paid twice a month. All supplemental pay would still same schedule, same cycle. That would be paid twice a month. And I will say that I know several people have reached out about that and stipends being paid along with their normal paychecks. We would have to include that as part of their regular paycheck. That is an IRS regulation, and we really can't get around that. So we are going to comply with IRS guidelines. I know that's not a bonus, but it is, other divisions have to do that as well.
So we're paying them separately now, but we're switching over to paying them as a part of their regular paychecks?
Yes, ma'am. Right now, they're paid on the 15th, which is not a monthly. It's a paycheck for us. It's a pay cycle for us, but it's not the contracted monthly month-end pay. Yes, ma'am. So at the end of the day, they're going to pay the same amount in taxes that they always would, because it always, rightens itself in April when you file your taxes. So if you are used to getting money back, you'd get more money back. If you're used to paying, you would pay less. I know that's not popular, but that is the way we would have to comply with the IRS regulations. Employee responsibilities, they would need to review their tax withholdings, any additional. They need to review their direct deposit selections. If you have money going to a savings account, you would need to adjust that on our forms so that we don't take the whole amount out of each check. It would be split. In other words, if you have $500 going to savings, you'd have to say $250, so it would come out each time to equal $500. And then, of course, you'd need to review your monthly bills and automatic deductions from your bank accounts just to make sure that you have everything in line. And we, of course, would provide any assistance that anyone would need to do. Would you have anything else you would like to add?
Nope, I think we said it all.
Okay, yes. So now, Ms. Pittman, you can.
I respect the reasons we're exploring it. I respect the amount of work that's going into it. I just have received a large number of phone calls, and I will say that the phone calls that I've received have been long-term teachers, been here a while and got their bills down pat, and they're automatically coming out at a certain time. And some of it might be, the fear of getting a half a check might not be enough to pay the rent and have something left over. Some of it might be just the comfort of not having to change. But due to the number of calls that I have received, I would be voting no.
Okay.
We need a motion.
Well,
there's some other discussion.
I would just like to also
and
point out
there's
again
some
that
other discussion on
To be
this.
clear, they're not going to go any amount of time with their pay because this will start 2 weeks earlier.
Right.
So it's a matter of just making sure you don't spend that money early. For me, I don't know if semantics is the right word for it, but that's what it feels like. So.
Well, I am concerned about recruiting and retention. And I know those of us who have worked, who are veterans, pretty soon we will be paid once a month. And so I'm looking out for the next generation because we will not work another 30 years. And we have people that we're trying to recruit who we want to stay here 30 years. And those things that we can do to keep them here and to first to attract them and then to keep them, those are the things that I would like to see happen. So
I have a quick question, Ms. Fleming, because I know we discussed this at great length in our advance, so we don't need to rehash everything. I recall something in the advance, some discussion about there were some tax bracket issues. Do you remember that part of the discussion where something to do with when stuff is reported?
So the taxing, right now everybody is taxed as if you receive a monthly paycheck. So what happens is we change that to where it says it's twice a month pay. So it'll be a total of 24 installments. And so it adjusts your taxes as for that. What you may be referring to is for anybody receiving supplemental pay and coaching stipends, what happens is, say you're receiving $1,000 stipend. it looks at that and it says, okay, you're receiving $1,000 on a monthly basis, so it looks like you only make $12,000 a year. That's why no taxes come out.
Okay.
So that's why the supplements and the
So in your tax workshops that you're talking about, you would address that with?
Yes.
Okay.
yes. But overall, it's not going to impact. It should not impact your overall taxes at in the whole at the end of the year.
But that when the coaches or the supplemental pay, for example, when someone coaches in the fall, they split that into 2 checks, correct? They're going to get it in 1 check. So on that month that they get it, the computer and the IRS think you make that much money each month, and it will be a big tax on it. So that's why you got to
Yeah,
adjust
I mean,
it.
we could consider, entertaining. Maybe we would pay it in multiple installments. I mean, that would help, but I have to look and see what the guidelines are.
Way back, before most of y'all lived here, we ran into some trouble with that because somebody got some coaching pay before they finished the season, and they quit, and they owed us money. So we stopped doing that. You probably were here, but
I probably was, but I think I do remember something about that.
yeah. So I mean it's just one of those things that it's going to happen if you get supplemental pay. It's whenever that is given to you, it will bump your bracket up.
Right.
Temporarily.
It's a smaller group of people.
Yeah.
All right. Any more questions or additional comments? I think we need a motion to entertain a motion. I will entertain a motion for proposed change to payroll frequency.
Madam Chair, you do that? Madam Chair, I'll move that we approve the proposed change to paying twice a month.
Second.
It has been motion and moved and properly second that we change there be a change to the payroll frequency. All of those in favor I'm going to do this differently. Madam Secretary, I will call for a roll call vote on this motion.
Dr. Elaine J. Pearson,
Aye.
Dwayne G. Walker,
Aye.
Barbara T. Pittman,
Nay.
Mary Ann Benjamin.
Yes. The final count? 3 to 1. So the motion is carried. So it is approved.
Okay.
Thank
you. And we will do everything we can to, make this as painless as possible with our employees. And we will be communicating this and putting out information in order to move everyone forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Secretary, is there any new business?
There is no new business,
No
Madam
new
Chair.
business? Superintendent Matters?
Yes, ask Christy come forward, and she's going to provide you with an enrollment update.
So we are now into our second, about 2 months of school, I guess. And our enrollment is not where we had anticipated it would be at. However, we do have a plan. We are about 87 students below where we had anticipated at this time. We are trying to, we will be able to absorb any deficit in our revenue with vacancies because we do have a significant number of those at this time. So thankfully, we will be able to handle the revenue shortfall. And then, of course, as we start building our budget for next year, we will probably need to reconsider making some additional reductions to the number of students we build our budget on. Currently, it's built on 3,975 students. So we're about 3,888, not counting preschool. Preschool doesn't get counted. So if you have any questions, I'll be glad to try and answer those.
What was the number enrolled again? I'm sorry. 3,000.
3,888 is what we have that we would get paid on. There's some CSA students we have, and there's some students that get paid out of a grant, the CISNA grant, and then there's also our pre-K students. So we have more students here. Those are just the ones that we would receive payment from the state on.
I will see that, we're seeing across the Commonwealth a decline in public education. There was an article that just came out this week that Arlington Public Schools was down 1.1% in their enrollment,
That's a lot.
and that's a big area. So they're even seeing it. First, it was just in the rural kind of communities, but now it's across the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
And so I think what we're seeing with Mr. Garnes' department, they're monitoring the number of kids going into homeschool and the private sector and religious exemption. So, and then just also there are a lot of different options available to families now that 10 years ago weren't
Right.
options for them. So they're taking advantage of some of those as well.
Yes.
Just a quick comment or question. Someone said something to me recently that it hadn't occurred to me. We're fighting right now. If you went to any of the town hall meetings, a lot of the discussion revolved around broadband and trying to get broadband in our county.
Yeah.
Have we considered the fact that once everyone gets broadband, this could
Make it worse.
it could make the problem even
It could exacerbate
It
it.
could.
right.
Because there's so many options out there that people that don't have good broadband can't get. And so, yeah.
But it also, too, as a public school, might afford us the opportunity to expand our virtual options as well.
Yes.
So it's something we could look into. So that we could compete in that market. But yeah, it definitely could impact it.
Are there any other questions for Ms. Fleming?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know this is something that is always on your mind. And Mr. Walters is coming forward to talk to us and give you an update with regard to safety and security.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to come before you this evening to talk about safety and security. I did this about the same time last year. We've made a lot of improvements and met a lot of our goals and set some more goals this year. So I'm excited to talk to you about this. The first section I want to talk about is some leading and learning. This July, we had the opportunity, one more, yep, sorry, I'm going a little quick. This July, we had the opportunity to get together with the people who make our critical response graphics. The guy's name was Josh Goldsmith. He's a former Army Ranger who did this with the Army Rangers. He did hot washes and critical response drills, and he got us all together and did that. It was really cool because we had the Dinwiddie County Public Schools leadership team from Central Services and from every school. And then we also had the Dinwiddie Sheriff's Office leadership team all in the same room around a table with a huge critical response graphic where we talked about what we would do in the event that there was an issue in one of our schools. This one happened to be an intruder in the school. This led to a lot of discussion. I think it opened a lot of eyes and things that we didn't realize, this is how this would happen, this is how that would happen. We were able to led to a number of changes in procedural, either for the Dinwiddie Sheriff's Office or for the schools. One of the procedural changes for the Sheriff's Office was how they enter the building, how they secure an entranceway, how they make sure that the doors stay accessible, either ingress or egress. And for us, it opened our eyes on, one of the big initiatives in the Commonwealth right now is to have blood control kits, in case of emergencies in your schools. Well, those are great, but unless you can get to them in emergency, they don't do you any good. So we were able to talk about not only having them, but putting them in strategic areas and having them accessible so that we can, do some life-saving things if we have to. And that included, when our teams travel without a trainer, making sure they have the accessibility to AEDs and blood control and things like that. So it was a great exercise. I'm hoping to do something like this each year, but it was really cool to see Major Knott, and his people in there and Dr. Weston and her team in there interacting together and working on, these questions in high stress situations, So it was really good. Next, we have begun implementing the cardiac emergency response teams. Obviously, you approved this plan a couple board meetings ago, and it did go into effect. We were able to procure or to get a list of all CPR AD certified or soon-to-be staff. October 20th, we have some of our trainers are going to be getting other people certified, so we'll have our certification up to date for all of our team members. I did have a meeting with Nurse Ryder and DHS to discuss the team makeup and start planning theirs. I actually did that one prior to this presentation, and today I actually met with Nurse Speece at Midway Elementary, and we did our planning. And so those two schools are ready to go and start having our first meetings. The other schools are all scheduled here in the next week or two, and we'll start having those meetings. Our plan right now is to have our first meeting prior to going out for Thanksgiving, and then do our first controlled drill right after the holidays in January. And then I guess, really, hopeful goal that we can have a meeting, have a drill that is called a live drill in the spring, where we, on a teacher work day, we have a mannequin that we put in the building with a sign that says, "I'm in cardiac distress," and then wait until somebody finds it without telling them. And then we operate on a live scenario where nobody knew it was coming, nobody knew we were having the drill, so we can see how we react in the moment, because that's going to be really important, is how you do it then. When you do a drill, everybody's ready, everybody's kind of waiting, the stopwatch is ready, everybody's thinking about the drill. You need to be able to do it in a live situation. So that's my hope for this. That would be one more than we are required to do by the Commonwealth and by the General Assembly, but I think it's important that we learn to do this correctly. Then after that, we'll do one drill a year. We wrapped up the 2024 security equipment grant, thankfully, finally. Sunnyside, we were able to extend their vestibule so that they now have face-to-face service with their visitors, which is important. We were able to add physical access control swipes to all their interior doors and to their 2 trailers, which was very important to me, and I guess probably to Sunnyside also. We have had some issues. Obviously, they've been wireless and they're internet-based, but they fixed the issues very quickly. Elite's very good at getting out there and getting them fixed within the same day that you report the issue. Also at Southside Elementary, we were able to, if you haven't been there, their security vestibule is impressive. It spans the whole length, the whole width of the hallway. They were able to take down their storefront glass in front of their office, which was made of wood from the 70s or 80s or whenever it was put in, and they put metal structure that can't just be knocked over now. It's very strong and sturdy. And they also put the physical access control swipes in Southside. So, we made a lot of progress in 2024, and we have a lot of really neat things scheduled for 2025. In November, December, we're going to be installing closed circuit TV security cameras at the softball field, the baseball field, and the Spring Sports Complex building. We're also going to install them at the DHS Stadium, press box, and ticket booth. Now, these aren't to watch the games. These are for security and for safety during the events. So we'll have access to those just like we have access inside the schools, which is, that's one of the things they allowed us to do with the security grant this year that was a little different than normal. Also in November, we're going to add physical access control swipes to the bus garage. That's a very vulnerable group right now. The public can just walk into that building and they're in the interior of the building. So they are going to have that so that they have to be buzzed into the bus garage, which I think is important to, protect the safety of the people working there also. We're going to replace the visitor intercom and camera at Midway Elementary. That's important because right now it's an older system and they're the only school we have that does not have face-to-face access with their visitors. So they need up-to-date cameras and intercom systems so they can have the best access they can. Now, our goal eventually is to do some shifting at Midway and switch where the main office is so they can have that face-to-face, but we weren't able to do that this year. It's a pretty substantial project. So we wanted to make sure we got some safety in place there so that they can be as safe as possible there. We also were able to order 31 Motorola APX 900 radios, which is the radio system that the county put in place. And now we have ordered 31 more so that we go exclusively in our schools to just using these radios. The important thing about these radios is they communicate within the school, but each school can communicate with each other. So Midway can call Dinwiddie, Dinwiddie can call the middle school can call Sunnyside. But they also communicate with the bus garage, they communicate with the sheriff's office, and they have the orange button on top where you can push if there's trouble that will alert the dispatch immediately. So Right now, the radios we use, and probably Ms. Pittman, the ones you remember from when you were, the repeater only worked inside your school building. So it's basically like a hunting radio in your school building. We wanted to get away with that. We wanted to, step into the 21st century and make sure we had access all throughout the county. So we're able to do that now. We have enough radios to do that. Now I'm going to begin implementing those. I met with Midway today and I gave them theirs. And the rest of the principals were meeting this Friday and they're going to get theirs. So. Also, we implemented weapons detection systems, 3 open gate weapons detection systems at the football game last Friday. We got them in. The guy said, yeah, we'll do the training. We can do it in November. And I was like, well, we're not waiting until November. We have these. Mr. Tortorese and I got them together. We read the instruction manual. We hooked them up to an app and we did them. We started using them and they work great. I think there was some frustration because some things are picked up as, what it does is it picks up mass, metal mass, that assumes it's a weapon. Well, some things have the same. Unfortunately, cowbells are a lot like weapons, and we have a lot of cowbells.
Oh, my gracious.
So they learn, take your cowbell out, because everybody has a cowbell. But we're learning those things, and the goal now is, and of course I'll be coming back to you to talk about this, the goal is to use them during fall sports, then transition and use them during winter sports, so that we really get a grasp on how they work. And then hopefully to start using them at the middle school and high school for student entrance. Mm-hmm. Of course, I'll come to you prior to that. But we wanted to do a soft run. We wanted to make sure we knew how to use them. We had all the training on them. And then see if they're right for us and see if the board appreciates them enough or the board wants us to use them for students. That's the big thing is we want to make sure it's the right choice for us. But if you've ever been to a concert, it's not like you're walking through the old 1980s metal detector and you walk through. If you don't have anything on you, you just walk through, the light stays green. If you do, it's a subtle tone, turns red. They take you off to the side and make sure you don't have a weapon on you. So it doesn't pick up keys and all that stuff. You don't have to take everything out of your pocket. So they're as advanced as you can get right now with the technology. So we were really excited about that, and we'll be using them again this Friday at the game. So, and then we also are going to put some closed caption TV security cameras and point of access card swipes at some other schools where we're upgrading from older technology that we had some leftover money. So we're upgrading stuff that was put in, as early as 2008. We're just trying to get them up to speed. So those are the security and safety upgrades that we've done last year and this year, and some other safety. I know it was a lot of information, but I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
I don't have any questions, but I do appreciate all that you're doing to keep our buildings, our employees, our people, all of our people safe. Because each time I hear about it, on the news or whatever, I think about, what are we doing if someone had done it at one of our schools. So I do appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's very important now that we do what we can to stay safe.
We've had many parent inquiries about what are we using? Are we using what's newest and most up to date? And certainly going about it the right way. We got to learn how to use it. We got to see what it will do and won't do. But
yeah, and that's why I was willing to put it in last Friday because we're wanding right now, and essentially we went to an easier wanding, and we want to learn the capabilities. But I didn't want to have this stuff and wait till November, and then if something were to happen, then we had the technology. We need to do everything we can to keep people safe. And I think if it went much quicker, we didn't get it back up in the lines and things like that once they figured it out. So
they probably wait longer to pull up the ticket on your phone.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Because the internet is so bad.
Yeah. We are working on that too, Mr. Anthony, I think you said, yeah, they worked really hard. We ran conduit. They're working really hard to get the internet working at our stadium, and it's actually getting much better than it used to be.
Better.
Yeah.
I've been to other places. It was at Colonial Heights for something. It was the same there in the city. I mean, there was 50 people trying to get a signal. Show their ticket.
It's a nightmare, and you don't want to take cash because the state's trying to go no cash, but. We do take cash, by the way. Archie is going to kill me for saying this, but if you show up without a ticket and just have cash, we're going to let you in the game, I promise. We're not going to turn anybody away.
We take a card at the gate.
We do take a card. We take GoFan, but last resort, we'll take cash. We're not going to turn people away. So.
Thank you for all your work.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
And the last report for this evening is Ms. Branch is going to provide us with an update about staff retention and recruitment.
Good evening to each of you again. It's a pleasure to be able to present to you some information regarding our staff retention and recruitment update. I'll preface this by saying I know that we did have a discussion about this previously during the board advance meeting, but I hope to be able to provide you some additional information as well as to provide this information to the public as well. So for our presentation today, we will be reviewing some of our demographics, trends, and forecast for the future as well, talking about how that will impact us in our retention and recruitment. Some thoughts regarding our compensation and benefits, our professional development, as well as our succession planning. Thank you so much, Vanna. Advancing my slides. So a part of our comprehensive plan, our priority 3 is on exemplary staff, and that is to simply retain and recruit the highest performing employees who put students first, practice inclusivity, and inherently add value to the organization. So the reason why this priority is so important, it speaks towards our why. And our why is because kids. We realize that everything that we do here, from the Central Services Office to each and every one of our schools and also our supportive departments, all lends us towards creating that safe, inclusive, and secure environment for our students. Everything that we do also contributes to us making that life-ready Dinwiddie learner. So once they matriculate through all of our schools and they get to graduation, as this young lady did, they have access to all of the tools and resources that they need to be able to be a successful adult. So what does that mean in regards to the employees that we have? Go back, Vanna. That's okay. We have to, the importance of us being able to establish retention is so that we can have a consistent presence in our schools, so that our children have someone that they are familiar with, that they can trust. We talk all the time about instilling in our practices that we hire individuals who can relate to and look like the children that come through our buildings, so that they can be able to aspire and believe and achieve for the goals that they have as well. And simply, the more and more that we add people to our organization that are committed to our comprehensive plan and exemplary staff, it's going to add to the value addedness and the value driven of that impact multiplying across the county. Okay. So as always, I like to give a little summary of Dinwiddie County, because I believe it's important for us to all understand where we live and how it impacts and how it shapes the individuals that walk through the halls of our schools and those that we employ. So Dinwiddie County is rich in history. We have over 507 square miles that our transportation department travels every day to get our children to school. The unique benefit about Dinwiddie County is that it is home to lots of history. So for those that are history buffs and for our children in the classroom, they can be able to plant their feet on ground where significant events in history actually occurred. And so that gives them a real life firsthand experience. There's a variety of amenities and attractions, not just here in Dinwiddie County, but also that are accessible. It's been noted that Dinwiddie is just 40 miles south of Richmond, which gives you even more access into opportunities. So as it relates to our motto, deep roots, great heights, we realize that this symbolizes the culture, the growth that we have experienced within our school division over the years, and also the aspirations that we desire to achieve and that are to come within our 7 schools. I would also like to review with you some education, demographic, and geographic information with you. This information was pulled from a national education website and does parallel with the population and information that is reported by our county's Economic Development Department. As you can see, our total population is a little over 28,000, and they also indicate that the median household income is over $77,000. This is important to keep in mind when we look at our teacher scale, which is below the median household income for Dinwiddie County, which presents some challenges. And we also have our race ethnicity breakdown for the county as well, with 63% white, 31% Black or African American, 4% Hispanic or Latino, and the rest of the percentages divided between other ethnicities. Many of the housing structures are actual houses versus apartments, and with many of the structures built many years ago. We spoke on this previously in another presentation, but I want to highlight the note that I made here that I do believe there is a discrepancy with the report of broadband internet, because we know personally from those that live in the county or spend time in the county that many do not have adequate home internet access. So that continues to be a struggle in the county as well. When we look at the children that are in our public schools, many of our children have English as their first language at home. But there is a slight portion of our population who speak English, as this report defines it, as less than well. And so we see that through all of our EL work that Ms. Penny Brooks helps us with, and how we try to help those students to be able to adapt into our rigorous curriculum. Many of the individuals here in the county are married, and there's also an indication that there are 16% that are below the poverty level, with close to 30% with food stamps or SNAP benefits. So offering something like free school lunch is something that many of our children can truly appreciate. The median household of incomes is $100,000, and when you look at our labor force, it's projected that 87% of individuals in the county are in the workforce. I want to draw your attention towards the educational attainment section on the right. As you can see, most of the individuals in the county have some college or an associate's degree, but a smaller percentage that have a bachelor's degree or higher, and which presents a challenge, and is why we have efforts that are focused towards helping individuals to obtain their bachelor's degree that would like to go into teaching positions. There's some additional data here regarding household incomes and individuals with food stamps and SNAP, just presented in a different format as far as what we've just went over previously. So we can advance to the next slide on that as well. And this leads us to where we are, what the state of the union is, so to speak, in Dinwiddie County Public Schools. We currently have 609 total contracted employees. The majority of those employees are teachers, and out of those individuals, we have 26 of them seeking a provisional license, 13 unfilled teaching positions, and 11 unfilled teaching positions with the substitute. So what that means is that, we may have some positions that are currently filled. However, they're going through a process of completing college coursework so that they can be eligible for a license. So we anticipate that position being filled by the time we get to January, or the positions that seem to be unfilled with the substitute. We don't have a plan, right, or a final person that's been distinguished as the person that will be able to be licensed and get a contract for that position. When we look at the landscape of teacher staffing across the state, there are over 3,000 positions that are unfilled teaching positions in Virginia. When we look at Region 1, we have the most, which is the region that we're in, which is over 1,200 positions, and 33 of those positions are in what I would call comparable localities. So when I looked at comparable localities, I looked at those school divisions that surround us, such as Nottoway, Brunswick, Prince George, Colonial Heights, and Sussex. I will say, this year we've experienced a higher number in the number of teaching vacancies than we have in the past. We've been very fortunate that we've somehow, remained, by the grace of God, have remained shielded somewhat from the amount of vacancies that some of our peers have encountered over the years. But we all know that the teacher shortage is not just a localized issue, but it's a United States-wide issue, and we are all experiencing that in one way or another. When we look at individuals that are fully licensed in faculty positions by location, this is the data that is across the board for all of our school locations. As you can see, that our schools with that seem to have teachers with more experience tend to have the higher percentage rate in being fully licensed, as indicated with Midway, Southside, Sunnyside, and the high school. And then we also have areas where we have a large number of provisionally licensed teachers, such as Sutherland and Dinwiddie Middle School. So because of that, their percentage rate of fully licensed individuals is lower. When we look at the demographics of teachers in comparison to race, ethnicity, and gender, the breakdown for race and ethnicity is pretty close to the data that's provided for Dinwiddie County as a whole, with 71% of our teachers identifying themselves as white, and then close to 30% of our teachers identifying themselves as Black or African American, with smaller percentages that are less than 1% in other areas. The teaching industry is also majority female. However, we made great strides this year in being able to attract male teachers in our workforce, and we want to continue to be able to increase that percentage in the future. So when we look at our retention and recruitment over the last couple of years, you can see starting in the school year ending 2022, the retention rate was 88.72%. And over that time, we've experienced a 0.02% change, leading us to our retention rate for the previous school year, 24-25, being basically 84%. And when we look at the data to find out why are individuals leaving, we have, 66 that resigned, 32 that retired. And then our slides hereafter dig into by location where those individuals left. So that's there for you to see as well as the slide after that shows the reasons for leaving. So when we look at the primary reasons for leaving, specifically for teachers, in this case, most of them did retire. But when we look at it as a whole, including our support staff, those numbers tend to, reverse. But many teachers retired. Some of them left for family or personal considerations. That's the second highest area. And then the third highest area was employment in education, but it was in a different location in Virginia. When we also look at employees that left as a whole by position, it makes sense that teacher is highest because we employ the highest number of teachers within our workforce. And then the second highest number is paraprofessional and bus drivers. Taking all of that into consideration and looking at the talent we currently have, we have 40 employees who are eligible for retirement, which can be concerning when we look at 24 of those being teachers. So that means if today they chose to retire, they would be eligible to do that. So that causes us to think towards the future and what are some ways that we can be able to retain the staff that we have. And of course, if their decision is to leave, what can we do to be able to attract staff that would want to stay here for a long time? So some of the things that we do to be able to attract the staff, for example, we do regular recruiting campaigns based on the needs of our school division. We have a recruiting plan that gives an explanation of places that we choose to visit, as well as the targeted recruitment we choose to do locally. Over time, I have come to realize that I feel like our greatest value is in being able to grow our own. So we've been able to have the privilege to be able to be a part of several different Grow Your Own initiatives. We currently have the class at the high school that's Teachers for Tomorrow. So we constantly tap into those students to see who wants to come into the education profession. We also offer them letters of intent. We've done that 2 years already for those that desire to return, as well as individuals that may be in college, didn't go to Dinwiddie schools, but they want to be a part of Dinwiddie once they graduate. We also have the Richmond Teacher Residency Program. This school year in May of 2026, we will have our first participant of the Richmond Teacher Residency Program to graduate. She will graduate with her degree in elementary education and will also be fully endorsed in EL. And a part of that program is a commitment to work in our school division for 3 years. I get lots of rave reviews and comments about this individual. She's been very successful in the classroom right now, and we anticipate that she will continue to do great things at Sutherland Elementary School. We also have some alternative licensure routes, such as I Teach, such as university partnerships that we continue to work through as well to help our students be able to succeed. This past year, I also partnered with our communications department and innovation and development and academic services to launch our Why I Love DCPS campaign. This gave employees the opportunity to tell us why they enjoy working here. It also gave us the opportunity to use that in our marketing efforts. So when we promote the positions that we have available, we're able to give firsthand accounts from individuals that work here about why they enjoy working at Dinwiddie County Public Schools. This quote that you see displayed here is from Miss Johnson, our music teacher at Sutherland and Southside Elementary. But she has indicated that working here has been a blessing for her. And we're so happy that people are able to experience that in Dinwiddie County. So we just want to spread the love and encourage other folks to be able to tap in and experience what they're missing out on here at Dinwiddie County if they're not already here. I mentioned the college and university partnerships previously, but this gives me a chance to dig into those a little bit more. Over the years, we've partnered with Virginia State University through participating in mock interviews, field experiences. They've also had an I2 Teach program that 2 of our teachers have went through in the past. We've also entered into a partnership with JMU and Bright Point Community College. That's called the DCPS Teaching Fellows Program, and it has allowed us to have 4 of our employees to participate in completing their college studies, depending on what their needs are to obtain a bachelor's degree. So some of them are currently enrolled at Bright Point, and some are enrolled at James Madison right now, all working towards a bachelor's degree in education. This program also comes with the commitment as well, so they would be required to teach in our county for about 3 years as well. So happy to be able to highlight those individuals, and they're all doing well in their classes at this point. And so we'll continue to move forward with the charge and open up the opportunity for more individuals if possible. I should be hearing next month if they will have some more seats for us to put people in the Teaching Fellows program in addition to what we already have. We also have a new partnership with Call Me Mister. This program is committed towards being able to increase the percentage of African American males and just males in general in education. So we have our first event at the end of this month. Mr. Moss from Dinwiddie Elementary, who is a Longwood alum, is going to be participating in their program, speaking to the young men. And so we are happy that he's supporting us in that effort. I also want to express my appreciation to you for allowing us to give the retention bonus to our employees that returned this year to reward them and incentivize them to return for this school year. So in all of our endeavors regarding our professional development, we aim to build staff capacity, advance our student achievement, and I know Mrs. Spires has done a lot of great work to make sure that our professional development plan is broad in its offerings and that it targets every employee group that we have working here. So I am appreciative to her to be able, for her providing those real world experiences that all of our employees can have that will help them perform well, whether they're in the classroom or in the office. We also have some initiatives under development, which is the Emerging Leaders Cohort. This would be aimed towards leaders that are desiring to either advance in their career here at Dinwiddie, or maybe they are happy in the role that they're in, but we want to just be able to develop them professionally so that they can help train other leaders. We'll also be working with those aspiring teachers as well so that we can be able to provide them regular ongoing support and development so that they don't just have the access to start, but they also have the resources to get to the finish line as well. We're also committed to our succession planning, and this is allowing us to look more broadly, to be able to look at long-term, how we will address our needs, and who are those people that can be able to fill those spots as far as our internal pipeline. Next. Okay. So in regards to our compensation, we all know that money gives us choices. So, you know, when we're looking at how we can support the needs of our family, you know, our salary is a significant factor in that decision. I just wanted to share this slide to help everyone understand the starting salaries in the surrounding area. And when you look at Dinwiddie County in red, $13.33 is the starting salary for grade 1 of our position. So grade 1 is in competition with many of these other areas that are mentioned on the slide. Grade 1 includes our school nutrition specialists. So you can really realize that we are in an ongoing competition with people such as Sheetz, such as Wawa, such as Hardee's, because they can make, almost close to $2 more working there than they can working here. We realize that the dynamics of the work schedule is different, but just want to highlight that these are ongoing challenges that we face. When we look at our teacher salaries across across the area, so this includes some schools that are outside of Region 1 as well. Ending in FY 2025, we were number 4 in starting salaries for teachers. But then when you advance to fiscal year 2026, on the next slide, you can see that we've already dropped down 2 more levels in starting salaries. So both of these areas, competitive salaries for our professional teaching staff, as well as those professional non-teaching staff and our classified positions, that continues to be a challenge and is something that we need to continuously look at to be aware of where we are at with our competition and do everything that we can to enhance that. We realize that total compensation isn't just about salary, but it's also about the benefits as well. So I wanted to highlight what we currently offer to our employees. We offer multiple plans. We offer 4 different plans that employees can choose from. Our high deductible HSA contribution plan gives employees the most tax advantage savings, and we also give them a contribution as well in that HSA account, which is not a requirement. It's just something that we do because we care about the health of our employees. We also have additional ancillary benefits that are embedded within the local choice package, the dental and the vision insurance. The other insurance benefit options are provided through supplemental insurance as well. We also offer those FSA and HSA accounts that give them some rollover flexibility, and also many of those supplemental benefits have wellness incentives that are included. If you go get your physical, then it ends up being a cash payout for you as long as you turn in your information. However, this comes at a great cost. We currently have 413 employees that are enrolled in our health insurance plan. And for FY 26, we budgeted $6.3 million. And just based on our cost that we paid for September, these could be the potential year-end cost for health insurance. So I do realize that our school board shoulders much of that cost for our employees. But, the outlook of what that may look like for the future is that the health insurance cost will continue to rise. And 413, that's a smaller number than what we have had in previous years, but it's just that because of the continued increases on health insurance, we're not seeing the decline in the cost because the benefits continue to go up. So leading forward, I say all of this to say that our focus continues to remain the same. We continue to look at competitive pay and benefits for our employees and finding ways that we can recognize our employees and promote their professional growth. We also continue to do climate study surveys throughout our schools to be able to promote a positive culture and give our employees a voice so that they can feel comfortable voicing those concerns and know that we are listening to them and working towards making changes for the good of everyone involved. Wellness also continues to be a focus because if teachers and staff are not well, they cannot be in our buildings and in our classrooms to be able to support those Dinwiddie learners. So we really need everyone to be in the best health that they can be. And we'll always continue to pursue partnerships that help us in advancing this effort, whether it be partnerships in the county or abroad. So with that being said, I welcome any questions you may have at this time, and I thank you for your attentiveness to this presentation.
I would just like to comment. I was placed on a recruitment retention committee many years ago. And the idea was, what are we going to do to keep our teachers? Well, then I decided to go get my doctorate. And so that's what I wrote my dissertation on. The problem is that people will leave for lots of different reasons, but it doesn't take a whole lot to keep them. You've got to love them. You've got to pay them well. You need to help with their health insurance, and you need to be supportive of them in the classroom. So I thank you for all the time and effort that you put into a well-presented program for us today.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And I will say that shouldering that challenge is not one that we do alone. So I have to, give public recognition to all of our school administrators, our principals, our itinerant support teams. Many of them start in their position at the beginning of the year, and before the end of the year is over, they're serving as a teacher for one reason or another. So we truly do sacrifice to make sure that our students are getting the best learning experience and outcomes as possible. And it's a great work, but I believe we have people that are committed to doing that work and committed to having successful outcomes.
I do also appreciate your work in trying to look at why people leave, why people come, what is it that motivates them to stay, what is it that motivates them to perhaps try a different position or try a different school. And that's the challenge in any jobs, but particularly in education, is to find that balance of where the person is comfortable, where they can serve us best, and to be able to offer an environment, both in the classroom and in the work environment, that they can appreciate.
Right.
And it's hard to do, but I believe we're trying and we're working towards that.
We are. Absolutely.
Thank you for all your hard work and your team who work with you.
Thank you.
It's not an easy job with all of this going on in the country with recruitment and retention. Everybody looking for a teacher.
Yes.
So we appreciate your and your team hard work for what you've done with this report.
Thank you.
And any other? That's it.
Okay.
Thank you so
That
much.
is all.
Thank you. That is all.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Rwante update.
Madam Chair, I was able to attend our most recent Rwante meeting and just want to report that had a pretty large turnover in the staff there at Rwante this year, but I am hopeful for the school because it seems like we have a good staff there this year. Also, like what Dr. Lathrop is doing in forward thinking, we've made some adjustments there to the programs that we're offering that are more relevant to the students' interests and career pursuits going forward. And then also, Dr. Lathrop's done a wonderful job of pursuing grants that will help us to develop engineering programs and things like that. Some equipment that's coming into the building. So some phenomenal opportunities for students there at Rwante. And then also some of the things that we've talked about in past meetings about upgrading the security of the school and all that. He's already taking action on that. Showed up the other day and there was a fence around the outside of the building. It's just neat to see the progress that's happening there. And I am excited for the future of the school. So
Good. Thank you. That's it.
Maggie Walker.
Okay, thank you for your report on Rwante. Maggie Walker.
Yes, Ms. Benjamin, I had the opportunity to attend Maggie Walker. It was a relatively quick meeting, but there were some neat things that happened. We had several teachers that came in to talk about some of the experiences that they're going to be affording students to travel abroad, which I'm very excited about, and hope that we're going to be able to have in our school system very soon. And so they talked about these experiences and what's going to happen over the spring break and summer months, and they approved those. The new principal there talked about, they don't have food at the schools, so they did talk about how they need to change the way things happen there so they can start charging school districts per student for breakfast and lunch so they can somehow get the food to be brought in. I think right now it's been really much of a challenge. So she did provide what that would mean for us, relatively small amount for us because we don't have that many children that attend there. But the biggest part of the day was spent recognizing Dr. Lowry, the former principal who passed away over the past year, and his family was there, and they started a new recognition in his honor. And they will be recognizing somebody every year, and they will go on this plaque. And what they said about Dr. Lowry was a couple of things. It was just interesting to hear people talk about him, and they have very consistent stories about him. But if you know him, he felt very strongly about service and dedication and power of community. So they'll be looking to recognize people in that area. His wife got up to speak, which I thought was amazing. And she said that something that he said every day was make it a good day or not. The choice is yours. And I thought that was just a really good thing for us all to remember, right? We always have the choice as to what kind of day we're going to have. And secondly, he said to always keep children at the center of every decision. And if you keep children at the center of everything, you're always going to do the right thing, right? So I thought those were two really wonderful takeaways, no matter what position or what seat we sit in or what we're doing. That was it.
Thank you, Dr.
Mhm,
Weston, for
sure.
that. Very interesting
Yeah.
quotes, too.
Yes,
Yes,
indeed.
yes. Madam Secretary, are there any citizens report?
No citizens have signed up to speak tonight.
No citizens signed up. Board member comments?
No, not at this time.
I would like to, we adopted a proclamation for bullying prevention and bullying awareness month in October, and I just wanted to, I appreciated what Dr. Weston said about what we're doing to make that a year-round effort, not just a show for the month of October. And I want to acknowledge the work that Mr. Brown has done in that regard. He has really been an advocate for this cause, and it's he has a real passion for that, and he's doing a lot. So this task force that's being developed, I think, is a good thing because we want our students and our staff to feel safe in the schools, and I think it's something that we need to take seriously. And so I'm glad to see that we're not just making this a thing where we put a ribbon on for a few days and talk about it, but we're actually doing something. So I appreciate what Mr. Brown has done for that cause.
Thank you. And we thank Jason in his absence. Ms. Pittman?
I really appreciate the efforts that we're moving as far as the security in the schools. It's so important, and that we keep up with what is out there and what's available, and be vigilant. We see on the news all sorts of things that we always hope and pray never happen to us, but we need to be ready just in case. I'm also happy that we can discuss issues, not agree, move forward, and make a decision for the greater good. So I appreciate the efforts there. And as far as the bullying thing is concerned, I think that obviously the schools get the brunt of it because students spend a lot of hours in school. But what we'd also hope is that, the efforts would be go beyond. We need to look at the internet. We need to look at parents and families, and that everybody needs to join in on how we treat one another and how we talk to one another and how we value each other in our community. And so that is important for us to sound the alarm, not only in schools, but sound the alarm to our communities and our families about that. So thank you.
Well, thank each of you for your comments, and you've said what I wanted to say. And Ms. Pittman, your ending statement, I just want to say that be kind. Let's be kind and think before we speak, and remember that words hurt. And I ditto to what you said. So there's no need for me to repeat it. So, our student representative, Jake.
Hi, good afternoon. First off, I'd like to appreciate Ms. Hawkins and her presentation this afternoon. I just think that it really demonstrates why Sunnyside is the best side. I'd also
Did Tony come out? Yes.
I'd also like to note that I have really seen a tremendous decrease in bullying throughout the school this year. I think that the really enforcing no phones throughout school has really allowed that to happen, because a lot of bullying does take place on social media. Therefore, if you don't have your phone in school, you can't really bully while you're in school. So I really think that that has been very beneficial. And going along with the payroll frequency proposition that we were talking about earlier, I was actually talking to a substitute teacher earlier in the week, and she was saying that she was trying to encourage some of her friends to come out and be substitute teachers because we were lacking some throughout the county, and she was mentioning that she was having trouble convincing them due to the monthly payments, and I think that the new plan would be very beneficial. So thank you.
Okay, is that it? Dr. Weston?
Yes, thank you for that. Appreciate that. There's a couple times during the school year where we recognize principals. This is National Principals Recognition Month. So I felt like for this month, what we need to recognize our principals for is this. I don't think that people realize that we really are desperately looking for substitutes right now, so people can take off and do the things they need to do. And so on every given day, our principals and assistant principals are in classrooms teaching. You could go to any one of these schools and they are in the classrooms teaching, so that, because who's that classroom matters more than anyone else. And so they want to make sure that our kids receive the instruction they need, but they also want to support their teachers. And I just really appreciate that. And I don't know that people recognize, because the principals don't go out and tell everybody, hey, I'm teaching in the classroom today. So they are spending a lot of time in that. And I just want to be said publicly that we recognize that you all are doing that, and we know how hard it is just to do your job. But on top of that, they're spending time in classrooms. I received a letter. We so often get to hear about the things we don't get right. And I appreciate that feedback, because we all can get better. But I did receive a letter from a parent, a very short letter, that I want to read because this person doesn't know that I received this letter. But in honor, it's also, School Administrators Month. But this letter was written by a parent at the middle school. And she said, "Good evening, Dr. Weston. I hope this message finds you well. I wanted to take a moment to share my sincere appreciation for Ms. Tucker. As a parent, I've had the pleasure of working with many school administrators over the years, but I can confidently say she is truly exceptional. Ms. Tucker consistently demonstrates genuine care for all students and their well-being. Beyond her professionalism, which stands out most is her kindness, her compassion, and her approachability. It's clear that Ms. Tucker goes above and beyond to ensure that each student feels supported and valued. There are not many individuals who embody this level of dedication, and I'm certain that Ms. Tucker has made a lasting difference in the lives of countless students and families, including my own. I simply wanted to make certain that this did not go unnoticed and to express my gratitude for the positive impact she has within this school community. Thank you for your time and for all that you do to support such outstanding leaders within the school district." I just think that, so often we forget that, there are people that really do appreciate. And I know that what Ms. Tucker's going to say is she appreciates her principal, because every time I'm out there, she doesn't waste a minute to tell me, how much she's appreciated being out there under Tori's leadership. They have a great team out there working. But if you see Ms. Tucker, make sure you let her know that I'm going to make sure I do that as well. But I think so often our parents, it's so nice that parent took that moment to write that letter. It does really exemplify what's happening in our schools every single day.
It really does. It really does. Is that it?
That's it. Yes, ma'am.
Well, then I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
It has been moved and second that we adjourn. All of those in favor, use the usual sign. Aye. Hearing no nays, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you again.